Imagine the scene. It's December 31st, 1979. The streets are quiet as the shops have been closed for hours, a stark contrast to the bustling preparation that went on beforehand. Inside, your home is a hive of activity. It's filled wall-to-wall with neighbours, most of whom you'd exchanged only a nod with just a week before. In the kitchen, there's a comedic struggle unfolding. Your dad is armed with a hammer in one hand and a screwdriver in the other, trying to open a notorious 7-point tin of beer. As he braces himself, everyone's watching with bated breath, knowing full well that with the wrong move, the ceiling might get an unexpected coat of beer foam. But this isn't any ordinary evening. It's New Year's Eve in the 1970s in Britain, a time when the festivities were in full swing and entirely unforgettable for anyone who experienced them. New Year's Eve held a special place because this was the moment when adults truly let loose. While Christmas was all about the children and their excitement, New Year was when the adults took center stage. Across the country, people were unified by the same limited broadcasts on the 3 available TV channels and the shared anticipation at buffet tables laden with treats. The highlight of the evening was the iconic chime of Big Ben, marking the end and the beginning. Unlike the vivid countdowns and dazzling fireworks of today, the atmosphere was simpler, defined by the shared experience of a smoky living room, a fizzy drink in hand, and the traditional singing at the stroke of midnight, arms linked in camaraderie. Those times were uncomplicated, yet intensely significant, leaving a lasting impression on anyone who took part. The lead up to the big night was just as much an event as the night itself. Days before, the big shopping trips were planned with military precision. Your mum would draft meticulous, almost anxious, lists knowing that once the store doors closed on New Year's Eve, they wouldn't open again for quite some time, perhaps not until the 2nd or even the 3rd of January. Running out of essentials was unthinkable, so the cupboards were stocked to the brim. Tins of salmon were waiting to be transformed into sandwiches, stacks of crisps and crackers, even those crackers everyone pretended to enjoy but no one genuinely liked, filled the shelves. And drinks. There was an abundance of them. The local off-license was packed, with lines of men securing their precious Party 7s, large tins of beer hugged like prized possessions under their arms. These tins could hold just shy of 7 pints, making them a precious resource for a lively gathering or a determined trio of friends. Opening these tins was an art form. You needed more than just a can opener. It required a special type of pisser, or in many cases, your dad's trusty hammer and screwdriver. The trick was to punch 2 holes on the top, one for pouring and one for letting air in. One wrong move and you'd have a mess on your hands, beer spraying in a chaotic arc across the room, much to the delight and groans of partygoers. Ceiling stains, drenched walls, a soaked Uncle Derek cursing his luck in his finest shirt. This was a spectacle every party witnessed. Beer spraying, the uproarious laughter that followed, and someone inevitably running to fetch tea towels to mop up the aftermath. For the ladies, Babycham was the quintessential drink. This fizzy perry, identifiable by the little deer on its logo, wasn't just a drink. It was an experience served in elegant stemmed glasses, complete with a vibrant plastic cherry on a cocktail stick. Your mum, with a small smile, would sip hers by the fireplace, feeling both sophisticated and like she truly belonged. Equally popular was Cinzano, with a choice between white or red, usually mixed with lemonade for that sparkling touch. The glitzy advertisements featuring Leonard Rossiter and Joan Collins painted a picture of charm and allure, which seemed to elevate every sip into something luxurious. However, it was sweet, effervescent, and entirely too easy to drink. By the time the clock neared 1:45, laughter filled the room, and someone's aunt might have been found giggling in the corner, drink in hand, professing innocence with a claim of only 2 drinks. The snowball made its appearance as well, a concoction of advocaat and lemonade, thick and yellow with a top that's crowned by a maraschino cherry. It bore a striking resemblance to a cocktail from a chic bar but had a nostalgic taste reminiscent of a liquid trifle. Even the children were included in the festivities, handed glasses of lemonade in grown-up glasses to mimic their elders, eyes fixed on the clock, anticipating midnight as if it carried the magic of Christmas morning all over again. The buffet preparations were an all-day affair, beginning on that very morning of New Year's Eve. Center stage at the feast? The iconic hedgehog, a grapefruit or orange and sometimes a humble potato, meticulously wrapped in silver foil. The scene unfolded like a culinary construction project as we embarked on assembling the party's pièce de résistance. Cocktail sticks were meticulously adorned with vibrant cubes of cheddar cheese and luscious chunks of canned pineapple, their bright hues punctuating the shiny surface of the foil base. This creation resembled an alien artifact, a whimsical hedgehog of sorts, with its interstellar appearance delighting the eye and piquing curiosity. The juxtaposition of sweet pineapple and savory cheddar was an adventurous flavor pairing, a novelty at the time, yet irresistibly enticing, so much so that it always vanished first, its allure too tempting to resist. Children swarmed around this cheesy fruit porcupine like bees to a hive, snatching sticks with nimble fingers. Many left behind the pineapple, their sights set firmly on the cheese, a testament to its universal appeal. By the time the clock approached 11:30, this gastronomic hedgehog bore the signs of a skirmish, its skewers askew, like quills after battle. Next in line were the vol au vents, petite and puffed to golden perfection. Each one, a delicate pastry case cradling a rich mixture of creamy mushroom or chunks of tinned chicken. Epitomes of elegance, they spoke of sophistication beyond their size. Handcrafted with care by your mother, who had procured them from none other than Marks & Spencer, these miniature marvels were expertly heated in the oven, only to be swiftly arranged on the finest dinner plates, ready to impress. Like a magician's finale, they vanished within moments, consumed by eager guests. The other offerings, the sausage rolls, sat unassumingly cold, unbeknownst to some that they were intended to be served warm. Still, they were a staple, alongside the quartered pork pies, which promised familiar comfort in each bite. No-frill sandwiches, crusts on, made their appearance too, showcasing layers of ham and cheese, occasionally interrupted by the forgotten egg and cress, sadly bypassed by most. And then there were the crisps, a bounty of salty delight in various flavors, from ready salted to the tangy cheese and onion. No extravagance required, just simple sustenance for the adventures yet to unfold that evening. The trifle took center stage in the refrigerator, a masterpiece of nostalgia and indulgence that beckoned from its transparent glass bowl. Each layer told its own story, starting with the sponge fingers drenched in the sweet embrace of sherry. Next came the tinned fruit cocktail, those exotic, sugary pieces of pineapple and peach mingling with startlingly red, artificially enhanced cherries that seemed almost aglow under the fridge light. The jelly, quivering incessantly at the core, provided an amusing interlude between the layers. It glistened, a wobbly testament to gelatin, solid yet forever on the verge of collapse. The bird's custard enveloped it all in creamy yellow richness, a classic that promised comfort with each bite. Crowning the creation was a thick layer of cream, sprayed from a can and adorned nonchalantly with hundreds and thousands. By morning, the sugary confetti had bled their vibrant hues into the cream, tinting it a rosy pink, much like the dawn sky. No one dared to touch the trifle before the clock struck midnight. It was a revered tradition, a ritual that was part of the nocturnal revelries. Elsewhere, pandemonium reigned as Woolworths transformed into a battleground on New Year's Eve. At 4:30 in the afternoon, mere minutes before the customary closure, the final hustle unfolded. Families scrambled, their voices mingling with the rustle of paper and the jangle of coins, as they squabbled over the dwindling supplies of party essentials. Party poppers and streamers flew off the shelves, while gaudy cardboard hats, bound to snap under any pressure, were snatched with fervor. Gold and silver shone amidst the fray, while the rare purple variety was conspicuously left alone, gathering disdainful glances. Meanwhile, the pick and mix counter was swamped, as eager hands dove into bins, extracting sugar-coated cola bottles and tangy chocolate limes. They stuffed them haphazardly into twisted paper bags that bulged precariously, ready to split from the bounty. By 5 o'clock, a mechanical hum signaled the descent of the metal shutters across shopfronts, a solid clanging that announced the halt of consumer chaos. The high street then plunged into darkness, a temporary yet complete cessation of commerce that held until the dawn of January 2nd. Back home, the television became the evening's authority, dictating the social rhythm. This was an era devoid of recording options or the modern luxury of pausing live broadcasts. If an episode was missed, it was a memory left unmade. Families gathered in the living room, huddled around the television with anticipation, the radio times scattered open on the coffee table, pages filled with red ink as biros circled the programs of choice. Disagreements often erupted, voices overlapping over decisions about films or variety shows. The battle decided, by 8, the nation settled as one, a collective sigh of comfort. With only 3 channels to choose from, BBC One, ITV, and BBC Two, the evening programming ushered in a uniquely Scottish flavour, regardless of one's actual location, be it Birmingham or Brighton. Hogmanay took over the screens, showcasing Scottish cultural staples, Andy Stewart in his traditional kilt, leading the way through accordion melodies and lively Scottish country dancing. The White Heather Club, an institution of the 1960s, might have altered its format by the 70s, but its essence remained unchanged. The presence of Moira Anderson and Kenneth McKellar, bearing their melodic tunes, and comedians whose jokes were a generational divide in humor appreciation, fortified the evening. Despite its predictability, the show was precisely what viewers sought, a comforting embrace of the known as the nation collectively anticipated the stroke of midnight. Inside homes, the atmosphere was equally compelling. The chill permeated through single-glazed windows. The lone coal fire valiantly battled to warm the entire downstairs. Breath visible in the frosty air, the cold was a constant companion until guests arrived. Then everything shifted. As bodies filled the space, laughter joined the symphony of rising temperatures. Cigarette smoke wove its way through every corner, forming a dense, grey veil that lingered on clothes long after the night faded into memory. One could trace the evening's narrative through the array of tobacco scents, from the distinct aroma of a pipe nestled between an uncle's teeth, to the lingering sweetness of an auntie's Benson and Hedges. The front door's intermittent opening let tendrils of icy draughts slip inside. In came neighbours and friends, clutching bottles, and pushing their way through the throng until coats amassed into precarious piles, each layer adding to the precarious mountain obscuring the upstairs bed. Leaving early on New Year's Eve was unthinkable, more socially damning than not making an appearance at all. The night expanded, stretching until 3 in the morning before departures seemed natural. Some would slip away early, ostensibly for just a quick drink at the pub, a customary pint to toast the season. Yet what began as one leisurely drop often turned into a cascade, one drink seamlessly evolving into 3, and then 5. As these exuberant revellers wobbled back, the stability of gait impaired by celebratory cheer, their lateness told tales their wives would hardly find amusing. Meanwhile, the pub pulsed with life, an irresistible magnet on New Year's Eve that drew in locals until it was fit to burst. Every face in the room was a familiar one. The pub was a nostalgic time capsule, with decorations from 1965 still adorning the walls, like cherished relics of the past. The landlord stood vigilantly behind the bar, a charismatic figure known for his warm personality and tireless dedication. He kept the fire lively and roaring, its heat and light creating a cozy haven from the December chill outside. His efforts went beyond the call of duty, as he poured pint after pint, tirelessly serving everyone until his arms ached from the effort. This was more than just a business to him. It was a family gathering, especially on a night as special as New Year's Eve. When closing time approached, he showed no urgency in ushering anyone out. The occasion called for flexibility, and the typical rules of last orders were bent in favor of celebration. The air was electric with the hum of conversation, as friends and acquaintances exchanged stories and laughter. The jovial atmosphere grew more boisterous with each sip, spirits high in anticipation and cheer. Your dad, a figure of quiet anticipation, stood off to the side, sneaking glances at his watch every 10 minutes, growing increasingly anxious. Missing the strike of midnight wasn't an option. It was the pinnacle of the evening, and being unprepared for Big Ben's chime would spell disaster for the night. As the clock inched toward midnight, the anticipation intensified. At 5 minutes to 12, a ripple of excitement passed through the room. The television's volume was cranked up, ensuring every note and chime would be heard clearly. People gathered around the screen. Glasses topped with champagne or ale were raised for the impending toast. Even the children, fighting off sleep with wide, gleaming eyes, were allowed to join in, their excitement palpable despite the late hour. The presenter on the television, with a gravity befitting the occasion, described the forthcoming events as if guiding the nation through unexplored territory. His words were those of ceremony, though everyone knew the tradition by heart. Then, a hush fell over the room, a collective breath held in reverence, as Big Ben's first chime cut through the air. In that era, there was no rushed countdown from 10, just a patient, respectful listening. At the sound of the first bong, the room erupted into a whirlwind of celebration. People turned to one another with joy, embracing in heartfelt hugs, sharing kisses, and shaking hands, united in the shared moment of newfound beginnings. Happy New Year was shouted repeatedly, as glasses were raised high in jubilant toasts. The television continued to play in the background, yet it went unnoticed by everyone, as the heart of the evening transcended its flickering images. Then came the iconic moment when the familiar strains of Auld Lang Syne filled the air. Everyone instinctively gathered in a circle, arms crossed over one another, hands clasped tightly with the person next to them, swaying gently in unison. The words of the song, although not fully remembered, flowed naturally as you sang of old acquaintances and the passage of time. It was a sound that resonated down the street, as open windows and doors allowed the ruckus of celebration to spill out, symbolically ushering out the old year and welcoming the new one with open arms. Then came the traditional walk, known as first footing. Groups of people meandered through the streets long past midnight, knocking on neighbours' doors, entering homes for a quick drink and a snack, continuing the convivial spirit. The tradition carried a specific charm. Ideally, the first visitor of the new year should be a tall, dark-haired gentleman, bearing gifts of coal for warmth, salt for sustenance, and whiskey to elicit cheer. It was said that a blonde woman turning up first would herald a year of bad luck. Superstitions aside, this was something that everyone went along with, not willing to tempt fate. As the night progressed into early morning, you might find yourself in unfamiliar homes, sharing drinks with near strangers, enjoying leftover buffet food, and engaging in conversations that lasted until the wee hours, 3, 4, even 5 in the morning. In this spirit of camaraderie, the cold seemed trivial, weariness too, because New Year's Eve was about savouring every moment. As New Year's Day dawned in a quiet, grey silence, the streets stood empty, curtains drawn as households contended with hangovers and the sheepish aftermath of the previous night's wild festivities. It was a day when virtually everything remained shut: shops, public transport, save perhaps for a solitary church service attended by the brave few. Most of Britain stayed cocooned indoors, recovering in the comfort of home. The scent of a rich roast dinner, often pork or creatively reinvented Christmas leftovers, began to fill the house, your mum the first to rise and get the meal underway, gently rousing the rest to life. Meanwhile, your dad napped contentedly in his favourite chair, mouth agape, snoring softly. The television was on, sound turned low, showing the Grand Viennese New Year's Day concert with its elegant waltzes and orchestras, though no one paid it any mind. Later, you'd be ushered outside for a refreshing walk to shake off the cobwebs, donning the new scarf you received as a Christmas gift. The sharp, crisp air sharpened the senses as you navigated the deserted pavements, exchanging quick nods and smiles with other families on a similar rejuvenating mission. No one lingered. The collective weariness made small talk unnecessary. Returning home signaled another tradition: the dismantling of the Christmas decorations. The tree was taken down, the tinsel carefully packed away, marking the official end of the festive season. Life began to seep back to its usual pace, with work resuming by the 2nd or 3rd of January, and though the enchantment of the holidays faded, the essence of those shared memories lingered vividly. New Year's celebrations in 1970s Britain were far from glamorous. There were no dazzling fireworks over the River Thames, no celebrity-led countdowns. Instead, there were just 3 television channels, a Party 7 tin of beer exploding unpredictably across ceilings, and whole streets coming together, linked arm in arm, belting out songs at the stroke of midnight. Yet these moments forged bonds in ways that quietly underscored their importance. When everyone tuned into the same program, feasted on the same buffet, and sang the same song at precisely the same time, a unique sense of belonging emerged. The Party 7 might have tasted less than savoury, perhaps the Babycham was overly sweet, and certainly, the cheese and pineapple hedgehog was delightfully absurd, but it belonged to us. If this recollection brings back memories for you, feel free to share your most cherished New Year's memory from the 70s. Did you ever crack open a Party 7? Did your family carry on the tradition of first footing during the New Year celebrations? For those who might be unfamiliar, this involves a member of the family or a friend being the first person to cross the threshold of your home after midnight, often bringing gifts like coal, bread, or whiskey to symbolize warmth, sustenance, and good cheer for the coming year. Maybe you were even the designated first foot yourself, delivering those symbolic gifts to neighbours and friends.